Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Kol Halayim La Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Baruch HaKodash, which means all praises to Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father. Bahasham means in the name. Yahweh Shai is the name of his only begotten Son, whom the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ. Baruch HaKodash means in the Holy Spirit, the Spirit of truth, on the way we can worship the Father and the Son. Double honors to the apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings. Salutations to all you brothers preaching the gospel in truth and in sincerity, always in charity. It's Brother Mathakti from the Great Millstone Camp, the branch out in Des Moines. And you can see the title of the lesson is entitled, It's Not a Matter of If, but When. And it's concerning, the draft. As you can see, I just typed into Google, Donald Trump considers instituting a draft. And you can see these different articles have popped up. Military.com, could there be a military draft? Trump's administration says it's on table. First post, will Donald Trump institute military draft to fight the war with Iran? Washington Examiner, 4 hours ago, could the U.S. institute a draft for the Iran war? So I didn't read any of these articles, so let's click on it and see. As the United States continue to strike Iran roughly 10 days since order by President Donald Trump, questions about how long the war may last have been coupled with the prospect of a military draft that administration officials admit remains on the table. 6 U.S. soldiers have been killed in a war that Trump has continually defended on the backdrop of what he and other senior officials have attributed to an imminent threat posed by Iran towards the U.S., Israel, and other Middle East nations. The potential length of this conflict has drawn many assumptions, as Trump has floated a 4 to 5 weeks duration, while Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has been more clandestine in presenting any particular time frame due to not giving away U.S. military strategies. So anyway, it ain't a matter of if, it's a matter of when, because the Holy Scriptures prophesies of men being taken in a great number. This is the book of Isaiah, the 3rd chapter. And let's start here at 16, because we're witnessing this now, according to Isaiah, the 32nd chapter. Her that is at ease. A lot of these women are in a state of mourning. Brothers have been showing clips, and different recordings of women crashing out in their cars, crying. I seen one clip where there was a church gathering, a church gathered all the singles. They had a singles event and only women showed up. And this is before, chaos here in America, which is going to take a lot of men's lives, that draft that they're going to implement. It's about to get real bad out here, especially for women. So this is Isaiah 3 and 16. Moreover, Yahweh Basham Yahweh Shai saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, proud as hell, man, and undisciplined. They could be holding their man's hand, walking in public while they're eyeing up and down a whole nother man. And you've been seeing a uptick on these streamers or these content creators or whatever the hell you want to call them, how they'll approach a woman, that's out and about with her man. And they ask, well, he got a Lamborghini, he got a Maserati. You want to take a ride with him? And you want to do this, that, and the third, and then the woman end up choosing to go take a ride with these strangers, man. And then the streamer turns to the dude and be like, see, brother, I just saved you, man. I just saved you. And it just shows you how trash this culture is, man. But it says, walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, walking and mincing as they go and making a tinkling with their feet. Therefore, the Lord will smite with the scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and Yahweh Basham Yahweh Shai will discover their secret parts, right? And this mainly has hit the Southern Kingdom woman, which is why she's the main buyer, of fake hair. She keeps the beauty supply stores here in America running, And the Lord said he will discover their secret parts. And we can see that through the scantily clad, attire that they wear, man. Real short skirts and dresses. Some of them be see-through tops. This is a wretched lewd society. And what does the scripture say about lewdness? Let me slide over to here. It's the book of Tobit, not Judith. Tobit, the 4th chapter. In the 13th verse, it says, "Now therefore, my son, love thy brethren, and despise not in thy heart thy brethren, the sons and daughters of thy people, and not taking a wife of them, for in pride is destruction." Now it talked about how they walk around haughty. So there's a great humbling coming for these women, man, and for the whole earth, for especially, the American people. For in pride is destruction and much trouble, and in lewdness is decay and great want. For lewdness is the mother of famine, man. And that orchestrated famine, that systemic famine, is about to hit this place hard, where there's going to be resources out here, but the majority of these resources are not going to be accessible to the majority of the public, man. Back in Isaiah 3:18. "In that day, Yahweh will take away the bravery of their tinkling ornaments about their feet, and their calls and their round ties like the moon, the chains and the bracelets and the mufflers, and the bonnets and the ornaments of the legs, and the headbands and the tablets and the earrings." This is all going to different things to beautify them. All the little accessories that women wear and how they make themselves pretty. All that shit is about to be done away with, man. Because you ain't going to be able to afford these things soon. And real soon, real beauty, is what's going to show forth, man. Not this fake shit that we see running rampant in today's society. The rings and nose jewels, the changeable suits of apparel and the mantles and the wimples and the crispin pins, the glasses and the fine linen and the hoods and the veils. So these are all different clothes, different hair accessories and different things that they use to curl their hair, to flat their hair, to all these different things, man. "And it shall come to pass that instead of sweet smell to different perfumes and oils, there shall be a stink. And instead of a girdle, a rent," meaning what? Out of shape. "And instead of well set hair, baldness. And instead of a stomacher, a girding of sackcloth, and burning," which that's ugliness, "instead of beauty." You see? And a lot of these things that they use today to beautify themselves, it really, what's the word I'm looking for? It really has a negative effect on their appearance, man. Because as they cake up the makeup on their face, the makeup clogs their pores, and it has and when they wash the makeup off, they just look through and completely, dry, for lack of a better word. The perms, and the different hairstyles that they put in, it really has it caused their hair to break and fall out. Bad time for these women. Verse 25, this is the point. "Thy men shall fall by the sword, and thy mighty in the war." You see? So there will be a draft that is instituted. It's not a matter of if, or it's on the table. No, it will be done because it is written according to the Holy Scriptures. "And her gate shall lament and mourn, and she being desolate shall sit upon the ground." So a great humbling is coming for these women. I want to jump over to 2nd Esdras, the 16th chapter, because it highlights the same thing. 2nd Esdras 16, and I start at 22. It says, "For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy." Because when society collapses, when this economy crashes, when civil unrest takes place, whichever one of those happens first, because with this war, we could see how the economy, could collapse based off this war. You see, we could see how civil unrest could happen just based off this war and how these people are divided. You see, so this war that's taking place with Iran, Israel, and America, man, is the groundwork for these things that we've been speaking about for decades, man. And ultimately, the last few prophecies that we're looking forward to, the MOTB being implemented, and then World War III, where it ain't no rumors of, Russia is supplying Iran with intelligence and this, that, and that. Nah, it's going to be known. Russia going to be actively involved in a war. China going to be actively involved in a war. Turkey, Spain, Germany, so forth and so on. But read verse 22 again. For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. So it's about to be chaotic here, in America, man. Specifically talking about this place here, man. As it is written in the 15th chapter, because when the Lord breaks the whole staff of bread and the whole staff of water, these people, man, they going to bug out, man, and they going to literally turn and start eating each other. And they're going to search each other's houses with the sword for the lack of bread and for great tribulation. And then it says what? There should be great insurrection. And it says that they shall not regard their princes nor their governors, man. I'm roughly paraphrasing what's written in the 15th chapter. So that's showing you that they're not going to give a damn about politicians and presidents and governors and mayors and police officers. They're not going to give a damn about none of that. And they're going to operate according to their own will. Verse 23, and the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them, for the earth shall be wasted and the city shall be cast down. So that's complete, collapse of society, man. You ain't gonna have no system where the ambulance comes and picks up the dead body and it goes through autopsy and find out the cause of death, and notify the family. Then there's a funeral set up and nope, showing you that there ain't finna be none of that, man. You see, there shall be no man left to till the earth and to sow it. The trees shall give fruit, and who shall gather them? In certain areas, man, it's going to be desolate. And this is what's going to be happening. The grapes shall ripen, and who shall tread them? For all places shall be desolate of men. So that, is this the one I'm looking for? Yep, I'm going to just continue to read down. So that one man shall desire to see another, and to hear his voice. And we don't know if we're going to be in an area like this, man. So the times that we have with each other, as the scripture says, forsake not the assembling of ourselves together as the manner of some is, but so much the more exhorting one another as we see the day approaching. Let us appreciate the time that we have amongst each other, man. And all that bitterness and bullshit and backbiting and murmuring and all, man, do away with all that shit, man. Or your ass would be done away with, a part of this body. Appreciate the time that we have together, because who knows if we'll be together when all hell starts to break loose and chaos starts to run rampant, man. Lord might see us to flee and be together, or might not. We might have to take this journey alone. But however it plays out, cherish these moments we have with each other, man. And that's the ultimate thing that we're going to be judged and graded on. You see? Determining your salvation ain't finna be whether you could break down Revelation, the 18th chapter. How good you memorized and broke down 2nd Esdras 11. No, you're going to be graded on, the first thing you're going to be graded on is your relationship with each other, man. Yahweh Shah said, this commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another as I have loved you. Paul said that love worketh no ill to his neighbor. Therefore, loving one another is fulfilling of the law. I'm roughly paraphrasing that. And John, the Revelator, the Apostle John, wrote that unto us in 1 John as well, man. He that loveth not his brother, is a murderer. So we can't say we love the Most High if we don't love the man standing next to us that we see. Roughly paraphrasing what's written, man. 1 Corinthians, the 13th chapter, Paul said, though I speak with different tongues, though I speak with the tongue of angels, meaning the Hebrew. You had particular brothers, in our camps, back in Chicago, that were real good with the Hebrew, man. And those guys ain't around. Or you had guys that were bilingual or multilingual, knew multiple different languages. Those guys ain't around. Guys that was able to, break down precepts, man, line up the precepts and order and break them all down and able to remember the different precepts and the points that he, niggas ain't around no more, man. So when you read 1 Corinthians, the 13th chapter, Paul said, do I have all knowledge? Do I have all prophecy? Do I have all faith? Do I give my body to be burned? You out there on the highways and hedges, you're sacrificing. Do I give alms? You helping brothers out. Yet if I have not charity, it availeth me nothing. And as you continue to read down, he describes the characteristics of true love. Love suffereth long. He said charity, but that word charity in the Greek is a love feast. It's agape. So it says true love suffereth long, is kind. It's not puffed up. Does not seeketh its own. Does not act unseemly. Hopeth all things, believeth all things. Roughly paraphrasing 1 Corinthians, the 13th chapter, man. And those things have to be in us, man. It's not optional. Salakia, though, went on that little tangent. Back in second Esdras 16 and 27. So that one man shall desire to see another and to hear his voice. For of a city there should be 10 left, and 2 of the field, which shall hide themselves in the thick groves and in the clefts of the rocks. And it makes me think of that movie, The Road. You know, there was a scene where him and his son was walking down the road and they heard, you know, a group of men coming and they went and hid themselves, man. It's going to be bad out here, man. You know, especially in rural and certain areas. It's going to be even worse in the city. But even like out in the field in certain areas, man, bro. Verse 29, as an orchard of olives upon every tree, there are left 3 or 4 olives. Or as when a vineyard is gathered, there are left some clusters of them that diligently seek through the vineyard. Even so, in those days, there shall be 3 or 4 left by them that search their houses with the sword. You see that? And this is what we coming into. Verse 32, and the earth shall be laid waste, and the fields thereof shall wax old, and her ways and all her paths shall grow full of thorns, because no man shall travel there through. And what was happening in 2020? You know, when you had, we suffered that small little shutdown. You know, the earth started to heal itself, man. You know, certain river systems and certain paths started to grow over. And so it don't take long for these things to happen. You know, all it takes is, you know, a couple weeks, a month for no human activity. You see, and these things can happen real quick. This is the point we want to get into. Verse 33, the virgin shall mourn having no bridegrooms. The women shall mourn having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn having no helpers. In the wars, and you see it says plural, in the wars, man. You see, because not only is there will be a draft, there will be a deployment, according to Joel. Let's grab that. This is Joel 2 and 20. But I will remove far off from you the northern army. And the northern army here is talking about the American army. And will drive him into a land barren and desolate. And this land barren and desolate, well, it's going to describe it. It says, with his face toward the EC. The EC represents the Euphrates, which empties out into the Persian Gulf. Now, what country sits there? Iran. You see? So their face is going to be toward Iran. So that's who they're looking toward, or that's who their opposition is. You see? Because the person that you're fighting against, you're facing them, right? With his face toward the EC, which once again, the EC represents the Euphrates, which empties out into the Persian Gulf. And his hinder part toward the utmost sea, which the utmost sea is what? Behind him, which is what? The Red Sea. You see? So it's talking about Western Asia, or what they call the Middle East. This is that barren and desolate land that they're going to be sent into. And his stink shall come up, and his ill savor shall come up, because he have done great things. You see? And then over the course of wars, man, there's many different deployments that take place, man. You know? So they got talks of boots being put on the ground now. So that precept, the beginning parts of that precept could be fulfilled with the first deployment or the first shipment of soldiers being sent over there. And it ain't going to be the last, you know, because once again, a draft will be implemented. And when they get their ass sent over there, it ain't no coming back. So they're going to be sent over there to that war in Western Asia. It's going to be wars here in America, where you're gonna have society, different, what's the word I'm looking for? Financial, you're gonna have people that's broke that ain't got too much. They're gonna be going to the areas, where they well off and rich. And it's gonna be a skirmish in the battle between those two. Certain areas, it's gonna Esau gonna bound up together, just like what they were doing in Katrina. Here it is down in the state of Louisiana, during Hurricane Katrina. You had all these people suffering, the devastation of that storm. But yet, in certain areas, you had Esau bounding together, shooting certain jakes that would come into their area, man. So you're going to have that in certain areas, man, when all hell pop off. Certain bands of bugged out ass Edomites going to be linking together, man. Trying to off Jake. And then Jake going to build a defense in certain areas against them niggas. You see? And then certain people ain't going to give a fuck about skin color, about how much money you got or nothing, nigga. Whether you got food or not, it's going to be, what's on their mind. So it's going to be real chaotic here, man. In the wars, their bridegroom shall be destroyed, and their husband shall perish of famine. You see? Lack of resources, man. That's what's coming to this place. Hear now these things and understand them, ye servants of the Lord. See, the Lord has given us the insight. As it is written in the book of Hebrews, the 11th chapter, we're the modern day Noahs, man. It says Noah being warned of the Most High of things happen not yet. Let's pull that real quick. Hebrews 11:7, by faith, Noah being warned of the Most High of things not seen as yet. Like right now, you can still go to your grocery store. You can still go get gas. You can still go get your food. Prices might be a little bit higher than what they were, but they're still available. Real soon, these things ain't going to be available. As it is written in 2 Esdras, the 6th chapter, your storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. You see? So there's going to be a day you're going to think to take your ass over to your local grocery store, and then it could be shit on those shelves. This is what's coming for America, man. They was talking that shit and making a mockery of it in 2020 with Bear Shelf Biden. You see? See, these people think everything is a damn joke. But the Lord going to show them real soon, man. But the Lord has warned us beforehand. You see? So he warned us of things not seen as yet. Moved with fear. Prepared an ark to the saving of his house, by the which he condemned the world and became heir of the righteousness which is by faith. So we heard the Lord's speech and was afraid, according to Habakkuk, the 3rd chapter, man. You see? So we started to prepare our spiritual ark. What's the spiritual ark? It's the things to do in order to be saved. How is that worded? Let me just type this in, because I can't think of the wording in the particular chapter that I'm looking for. Yep, here it is. This is Acts 16 and 30. Get straight to the point. And he brought them out, that he being the prison guard, the keeper of the prison. You can go back and read the story. It says, and he brought them out, verse 30, and he brought them out and said, sirs, so that he being the prison guard, and he's speaking to Paul and Silas. So he brought them out and said, sirs, what must I do to be saved? Verse 31. And they said, believe on the Lord Yahawashi HaMashiach, and thou shalt be saved in thy household. So basically, they told him what? James 1:21. Wherefore lay apart all filthiness and superfluity of naughtiness, and receive with meekness the engrafted word, which is able to save your souls. You hear that? But be ye doers of the word. So as you receive the faith, as you hear the word, you start to apply the word in your everyday life. So you start to change. You start to lay apart from all filthiness and superfluity of naughtiness, and you start to be renewed through the knowledge, right? That's a precept in Colossians. Let me pull that real quick. This is how we're going to escape all these said perils, that is starting to build up on the earth right now. Colossians 3:10. Let's start at 9. It says, lie not one to another, seeing that ye have put off the old man with his deeds, and have put on the new man, which is renewed in knowledge after the image of him that created him. You see? Back in James 1:22, but be ye doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves. For if any be a hearer of the word and not a doer, he is like unto a man beholding his natural face in a glass. For he beholdeth himself and goeth his way, and straightway forgetteth what manner of man he was. So imagine you looking in the mirror and you able to acknowledge and see yourself. And as soon as you walk away from the mirror, you don't recognize yourself anymore. That's mad. It's crazy. It's like, no, if I seen a reflection of me, I would know that that's me. Well, he's likened that unto a guy that hear this word and don't apply it. You thinking like, man, that shit sound bugged out. Well, yeah, that's how bugged out it is for you to hear these instructions and for you to turn from it or to deny it. So let's go back. 2nd Esdras 16:35 again. Hear now these things and understand them, ye servants of the Lord. Behold the word of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai. Receive it. Believe not the gods, the idols of whom the Lord spake, man. You see? Don't believe this bullshit that the society pushes, man. These lies and the propaganda that's being spread. Behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack, as when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son. With 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains compass her womb, which pains when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. The beginning of sorrows. Just like how a woman starts to go through those pains, they starts to increase. They start to become more intense and more sharp. You see? And they start to become more frequent. This is what we're going to witness, man. Here in these last days. That war with Iran is a birth pain. Gas prices going up, price of living, energy, birth pains. And they're going to become more frequent and more sharp, more intense, more painful. Oh, my people, hear my word, make you ready to the battle. And in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. So the Lord is telling us the mentality we should be in, man. Here we have no continuing city, but we seek one to come. They that say such things declare plainly that they seek a country. This ain't it, man. So we looking forward to the destruction of this place and our deliverance. Lord, will we be of that number? And we going home. You see? And even though when that woman goes through that pain, it hurts for the moment. But Yahweh Shah used the same analogy over here in John the 16th chapter. This is St. John 16:20. Verily, verily, I say unto you that ye shall weep and lament, but the world shall rejoice. And ye shall be sorrowful, but your sorrow shall be turned into joy. And that's going to be, upon our deliverance, Lord, will we be of that number. But we see that that transition is happening already. These people, they ain't all holly, jolly, and joyful as they used to be, man. According to Isaiah, the 24th chapter. You see? The city of confusion is broken down and is shut up. There's a cry for wine in the streets. The music is being brought low. You should not drink strong drink with a melody. I'm roughly paraphrasing Isaiah 24. Meaning that these people are starting to sorrow and suffer. And as we see these different judgments take place, our joy is being renewed in the spirit, man. Verse 21, a woman, when she is in travail, hath sorrow, but her hour, because her hour is come. But as soon as she is delivered of the child, she remembereth no more the anguish for joy that a man is born into the world. And ye now therefore have sorrow, but I will see you again, and your heart shall rejoice, and your joy no man taketh from you, man. You see? So when that child is born, meaning what? When we're delivered, we're in those chariots, we're going to understand that all this pain and everything we went through was worth it. So I pray and hope this was edifying. Thawadi Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, for giving me the spirit to do this lesson. I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Baruch HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings. Salutations to you, brothers, preaching the gospel in truth and in sincerity, always in charity, who's rightly dividing the word of truth directly and correctly. Peace, blessings, and salutations to you, brothers, you few sisters that's listening and learning in silence as well. And I'm going to say shalom.